Hi guys, welcome back to our little cottage here on the river in the far north of Idaho. So in this video I am going to share with you my recipe for classic scones and an easy mock clotted cream to go along with those scones. And here in a large mixing bowl I have added 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour and 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 4 teaspoons of baking powder. And then I just kind of whisked that together to mix that all together. And then here I am grating 1 stick of cold unsalted butter into the dry mixture. And grating it into the mixture just makes it so much easier to incorporate it into the dough. So I highly recommend the cheese grater method when you need to cut butter into a dry mixture for scones or for pie crust. It just makes the process so much quicker. And so here I'm just kind of rubbing the butter into the flour with my hands and just getting that well incorporated. And you don't want to do this too long because you also don't want the butter to start melting. But yeah, you'll just do this for a little bit until the butter is mixed into the flour. And the flour will kind of hold together slightly if you squeeze it in your hand. So like here, but yet it will still kind of fall apart all crumbly. And then to this I'm adding in 1 cup of whole milk, and you want to use whole milk, and then 1 whole egg. And here I would say beat the egg before you put it in the mixture. I was just flying along and didn't think about it. So it works, it's fine, it's still mixed in, but I would say to make it mix in a little bit easier to go ahead and just kind of whisk it up with a fork before you add it to the mixture. And then I just start with a wooden spoon until the dough starts to come together, and then I will start working it with my hands and put it out onto my work surface and just, I guess, knead it together. You don't really want to knead it very much. You don't want it to become tough, but I'll just mix it together with my hands until it just all comes together. And here I am rolling out the scone dough, and I did this to about a 1/2 inch thick to 3/4 of an inch. You can definitely do an inch thick if you'd like. You just have to adjust the baking time accordingly to how thick you want your scones. And also be preheating your oven to 350 degrees beforehand. And then I used my 2-inch round cookie cutter to cut out the scones. I just really like that size. You can go larger or smaller if you'd like. Again, just adjust the baking time accordingly. And I actually ended up rolling out the dough. So I rolled out this batch, got it on the cookie sheet, rolled the dough out again and cut out a few more, and then 1 more time. So I think I rolled the dough out a total of 3 times, which isn't ideal because you want to work the dough as little as possible, but I found that they turned out okay doing this. So you can definitely, you're not going to waste too much dough. You can roll it out at least a couple more times to get more scones out of it. And then here I'm making a simple egg wash. I just used a whole egg and put in 2 or 3 tablespoons of water and whisked that all up together so that I could put a little bit of an egg wash on top of the scones before baking. And this just gives it a really nice, shine to the top of the scones. And I don't have a pastry brush. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, and so I just fold up a paper towel and use that to brush an egg wash on, whatever it is I'm baking that needs an egg wash. And it works fine. It's not ideal, but it works just fine. So you can totally use a paper towel if that's all you have. And then these will go into the oven for about, I would say, between 13 and 18 minutes. I know that's kind of weird times, but you'll really just want to keep an eye on them and check them. The bottoms will start to turn golden brown. I found the tops didn't turn as golden brown, but that's totally fine. Most scones aren't going to, you don't want them to necessarily brown on the top. And so I would say between 13 and 18 minutes, depending on your oven, and you'll just keep an eye on it. And so here I'm putting together a second little cookie sheet of scones from the rest of the dough that I had left over. And then when the scones are done baking, I let them cool on a wire rack. And this recipe makes about 18 2-inch round scones. And of course, this recipe will be available over on my blog at homespunannie.com, and I will also have it linked in the description box below. And then to go along with my classic scones, I love to make some clotted cream. And if you are an anglophile like I am, then you enjoy a good scone with jam and clotted cream. But traditional clotted cream is a very long process to make, upwards of 12 hours, if not longer. And so this is a very quick recipe for a simple mock clotted cream, and it just calls for 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, 1 cup of heavy cream, and 1/4 cup of sugar. And you just put that into the bowl of a mixer. You can mix it by hand if you want. It will definitely take a little bit longer, but put this in the bowl of your stand mixer. Use the whisk attachment and whisk this up for about 2 minutes on like a medium-high speed until it's nice and whippy, I guess you could say. And then this makes about 2 cups, so you can have the recipe if you want. If you don't need 2 cups, you can definitely have it and just have 1 cup. And then I like to store it in mason jars in the fridge, and it'll store for about, probably 7 days. And of course, serve it with your favorite classic scone. And I love to do the traditional strawberry jam and put that on my scone along with the clotted cream and enjoy it with a nice afternoon cup of coffee or tea. I will also have the recipe for the easy mock clotted cream over on my blog at homespanani.com and also linked in the description box below. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, share with someone else you think would enjoy it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.